and welcome back to episode 2 of Pet Perfect Talks, where we talk to pet professionals across the pet industry. And today we have with us our very own resident vet, Dr. Sonakshi Saxena. Thank you, Sonakshi, for taking the time to be with us here today. For all you do
Thank you
not
so
know,
much.
Sonakshi, could you please introduce yourself and explain exactly what you do here at Pet Perfect?
Yeah, so I recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in veterinary sciences and animal husbandry. And I am employed at Pet Perfect as a research analyst. I just curate the guides, research on the content to be prepared, and I answer the queries as a veterinarian on the app. So, yeah, this is all I do at Pet Perfect.
That's amazing, and thank you for helping out our members of the Pet Perfect family in answering all their queries and creating the guides. I'm sure they love it. And we were deciding on what the theme of today's talk should be about, and we realized that a lot of pet parents start their journey of being a pet parent by bringing a new puppy into their house, right? And a lot of them do not realize it's almost as bringing a new child into the house, and it requires a lot of planning and thinking in order to take that step. So for today's theme is being a pet parent for a newborn puppy, and we have a few questions related to that topic which you will answer right now. So thank you again, and we'll get started now. All right. So for question one, what are the steps a pet parent should take when bringing home a new puppy?
Well, first of all, getting a new puppy can be exciting as well as a rewarding experience. But it's important to make sure that your new furry friend gets off the best possible start. I would say we need to puppy proof your home because puppies are curious and they love to explore. So, to make home safe for them, I would say turn off all your electricity appliances near them and close the doors for the pools and keep your sharpie stuff away from them because that's when it can get dangerous. Also, set up a routine because they thrive on routine. So it's important to establish a consistent schedule for feeding, exercise, playtime. Like they need to feel secure and comfortable in their new surroundings with you. And invest in good training. Like some basic obedience should start from the very few weeks of their life, like sit, come, stay, this all like the basic things. And of course, they need plenty of nutrition, exercise, regular veterinary care, like visit the veterinarian regularly during the initial days. And yeah, by keeping these things in mind, I guess the transition journey of getting the puppy to your home would be smooth as butter.
Yep. I think a lot of people bring a new puppy and they find it cute and they play with it and that's all great. But I think they start to realize they do not put much focus or emphasis on the caring part in terms of making sure their health is fine because they get really engrossed into playing with them and taking pictures and stuff like that. But it's equally important to make sure, just as you bring a new child into the house, you make sure everything else also around them is safe. So, transitioning from that point, right, once you take these essential steps, what are the list of items you think a pet parent should need when bringing home a new puppy?
Yeah, so they do require some special things that should be there in the house. Like there should be a special checklist. For example, you should have enough amount of puppy milk replacer if the bitch is not there. You should have bedding and blankets. You should have warm towels or heat lamps if the area is cold enough. One should always get feeding bottles and nipples that are available for the babies as well. And if not, then a 3 ml syringe would work without the needle to feed the pup. A digital thermometer comes in handy if the puppy comes with some infections or diarrhea already. And some grooming supplies like shampoos, combs, some playful toys because, of course, it's a child. And yeah, leash and harness to train it and to get used to it. Just remember that it should be loose enough, have a buckle and a belt, and some puppy pads, newspapers for some house trainings. I guess this would suffice all the checklist items that would require for your puppy at this stage.
Got it. I think a lot of this make a lot of sense. But would you say that it's required to get each and every one of those things, or even the what would be the core essentials required from that?
Well, I would say a crate or a pen where the puppy should be housed, the bedding material, the food bowls, and water crates. These are the main things. But instead, if I take it a step further, then I would say first aid care is the most important thing. Like we're missing it out. The cotton gauges, some betadine solutions, some basic medicines that your vet prescribes according to the area. These are one of the things that should be there with the puppy at all times.
Got it. All right. And I think now, once you've safeguarded your house, you've gotten all the items, right? And this is something I've struggled with whenever I've tried to foster a puppy or I've tried to feed a really newborn puppy. It's very difficult, right? It's very difficult to get them to eat or drink stuff. So, how would a pet parent go about feeding a newborn puppy?
Yeah, so first you need to purchase the necessary supplies, as I mentioned. That is a feeding bottle, which is generally used for puppies or babies. And if not possible, then 3 ml syringe would work without the needle, of course. And there are some bottles that are designed for premature babies or puppies, which are very small sized, like for small breeds. You can definitely ask your vet about it. The next thing would be to prepare some powdered milk replacer. It should be in liquid forms at all times during the initial stages. However, we need to transition into the solid food slowly and gradually. But some do's and don'ts would be never refrigerate the food, because even if you're keeping it in the refrigerator, you're making the 24-hour mix and you're keeping it in the refrigerator, I would say heat it up before you feed your pup the next time, because we don't want any mishaps with the new member. Also, feeding requires some constant effort because they have a very small stomach and their digestion is not up to the mark at this point of time. So one should give them for approximately 2 to 3 hours, I would suggest, in a span of 24 hours. And if you talk about how much should be given, then it is according to the breed, the weight characteristics. Approximately 30 milliliters would serve for a 1 kg pup. That is how the medical statistics states. However, if your dog is obese or there are some other medical conditions that are going on, definitely ask your vet. Um, and always encourage your pups to feed on their own. Like always initiate the reflex. Um, and yeah, always feed on time. So these are some very basic things that I would say one requires to have in mind before feeding a new pup.
Got it. So that was a lot of information. And you know
Yeah.
what? To throw a little plug into this, this is why you should download the Pet Perfect app, because all that information will be available to you through the guides curated by Dr.
Definitely,
Sonakshi and
definitely.
other vets in our company as well. Just a little plug to give it to our pet parents watching. But yeah, let's move to a last question of this theme, of this topic. All right, let's assume we have done all that is required now. Is there any final steps that a pet parent can take to safeguard the health of a puppy?
Yeah, because we did all the things that were possible from our side, but there are things that a pup needs which we're not providing at home, and that is some vaccination, deworming stuff. We need to care because it cannot regulate the body temperature on its own at this stage. So, providing warmth, taking care of the temperature needs, that is, it should be around 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit in the initial week. However, it should gradually decrease up to 75 degrees Fahrenheit till fourth week of age, and your puppy should start responding to your touch, etc. So, if you talk about the basic thing to safeguard would be preventing illness and safeguarding the health, and that would be possible only when you think of vaccination, like get your puppy vaccinated at 3 to 4 weeks of age, according to your area, region, and the lifestyle you follow, specific diseases that are there, your vet will be able to guide properly. However, 7-in-1 vaccine or the rabies vaccination, coronavirus vaccination, all these can be done at this point of time. And they do require booster shots. So one can use the Pet Perfect app because it's the best solution to keep in reminders, get it logged. And yeah, some other stuff would be all pups do come with diarrhea, right? So never stress that you're overfeeding it or you're always giving it liquids too much because you're feeling that, okay, your pup might get dehydrated. So never get into that point. Always make sure that you're balancing it properly. It should neither be obese and neither be underfed. That's the basic care I would say would safeguard the health of a pup. And yeah, dewormers, never forget them. They should be according to the area and the climate. However, like it's very common for pups to be born with internal parasitic infections. That's like 95% common. So one needs not to worry, although it's a very challenging task, but I'm sure it's really a new journey, a new lifestyle that one can get accustomed to very easily. So yeah, kudos to that.
Got it, got it. So our goal with this quick short, like you say, interview or podcast was to cover all these steps that are required for a pet parent to be fostered in a new puppy at their home, right? So we have tried to cover all the basic things in this short podcast. But if anyone has any questions or comments, you can always leave them down below. Or you can even download the Pet Perfect app and go to a community forum, and there are a lot of pet parents will help you. Even Dr. Sonakshi will be able to answer questions for you. So please feel free to
Sure.
download the app. And let's to end this on a high note. If there's any fun fact you know about puppies or dogs that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, most pet parents don't know that your puppies are born deaf and blind. So you need to take extra care of that. Mostly they rely on their mother for warmth and nutrition. However, when they're born, they're deprived of such senses. So yeah, that's a fun fact that very few people know about.
That is actually a fun fact. I did not know about the deaf and blind part. That's pretty interesting. So again, thank you, Dr. Sonakshi, for taking the time, and thank you for anyone who watched it. I hope you found it helpful. And again, please feel free to reach out to us anytime you have any questions. Thank you.